Day two, Sanjay, thanks so much for being here. We spoke with your CEO yesterday, Shaker, and he had mentioned your inferencing tool. As AI inferencing becomes, more distributed, latency dependent, what are kind of the architectural gaps maybe in traditional networks that you're seeing and where you're trying to come in with the inferencing tool to address those?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Tommy. So what we see is that as AI enters the commercialization phase, the center of gravity is moving from trainings, which builds the intelligence, to inferencing, which actually delivers the results, right? As you see an explosion of agentic AI and in the future physical AI for across industries like retail, healthcare, automotive, what you're going to see is a lot more inferencing traffic being distributed and spread across edges, data centers, and even the cloud. So now the main challenge becomes, how do you deliver inferencing in a way that actually takes care of delivering results faster, lower latency, as you mentioned earlier? How do you do it while maintaining sovereign requirements and data privacy requirements? And how do you then also manage capacity that you have from a power perspective as well as from a compute perspective, spread over a number of resources? Traditional networking simply is not geared up to handle this because it's very hardware-centric and it's inflexible. So what we've introduced is the Arcus Inference Network Fabric, which is an AI policy-aware framework. And what we do is we take into account the service level objectives that operators have, which may be around latency, speed of inferencing results, data and sovereignty requirements, power or capacity grid requirements. Take that, allow the operators to create policies, and with those policies, they're able to then deliver inferencing that matches those requirements that they have. And therefore, at the end of the day, what we deliver is, lower time to first token, a reduction about 60% in that, 40% reduction in end-to-end latency, and a much lower cost per inference. And that makes this much more economically viable and actually helps stitch together all these inferencing workloads that are spread all over the place.
Yeah. So, tools are one piece of it, and I know it's also really important to have the collaborative element. So you guys have quite a few announcements here this year at MWC. Can you talk about particularly the one with FNTV, Fujitsu, and the platform you're doing there with them?
Yeah, glad you brought that up. So we've announced a strategic partnership with Fujitsu that brings in MONAKA, which is a purpose-built inferencing processor. So that's the compute side of it. And then with our operating system, along with AINF, which provides the networking piece for distributed inferencing. And then Onefinity brings in optical transport or optical connectivity that gives you secure, scalable, long-distance connectivity. So this combination of compute, the network, as well as the transport makes it a very compelling infrastructure for sovereign AI in a secure fashion. So that's the announcement, and that's the collaboration that we had with Fujitsu and Onefinity that we're really excited about.
Beautiful. And to close us out, just in a broad lens, what would you say you at Arcus are really showcasing this year at MW6 when it comes to AI networking?
So essentially we're helping operators realize the benefits of AI and helping them be able to deploy AI in a much more scalable and economically viable fashion. We've got a number of course, we talked about AINF. We've talked about the MONAKA collaboration. Apart from that, we also have something called SRv6 Mobile User Plane, which is an innovation that allows network operators to use 5G networks and deliver network slicing on top of that in a much more efficient manner with lower latency for edge applications. So that's one of the elements that we're showcasing here. We're also helping operators with a highly available network so that within the operation itself, they can upgrade their network without having any downtime. That's another innovation that we're showcasing, along with our solutions for service provider networks, helping modernize that, as well as for data center networking as well.
Well, Sanjay, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Awesome.